In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, I wish to state that on March the 20th, 2020, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the Township Bulletin Board and the Upper Township website, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being audio recorded up until the closed session portion, of which there will not be a closed session portion of this meeting, and will be available on Upper Township's website. I hereby direct that this announcement be made a part of the minutes of this meeting. Barbara, I would ask that you call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Coggins?
Here.
Mr. Corson?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here.
And Mayor Palumbo.
Here.
All members are present.
All right, so now all of you, please stand and rise, and we'll do a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all. All right, so what I'd like to do is to remind everyone to mute their phones. So if you have that green button in front of you, just touch it and it'll go to red and you'll know you're on mute. And anybody that has or will join the call, please do the same. But having said that, would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from March 9th, 2020, regular and closed session minutes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried with all in favor.
All right, so we have, we're going to the report of the governing body. Scott, do you have anything for us this evening?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and committee members. I just wanted to provide an update on the status of Upper Township with respect to our COVID-19 operations. First and foremost, brief report on the state of New Jersey Department of Health. We currently have 2,844 positives in the state, and currently in Cape May County, 5 positives for COVID-19. First, operationally, I just wanted to thank Chief Sampson and her team for the tireless work that they've been doing to respond to our community's healthcare needs and challenges brought by COVID-19. And I wanted to also remind all Upper Township residents to continue to practice the proper social distancing with this emergency. And also, please adhere to Governor Murphy's executive order to stay at home. Remember to call your local physician or hospital before you go if you think you are symptomatic with COVID-19. And check on the elderly or those that have functional needs in this time of emergency, but do so by phone, or if it's not possible, make sure you practice the necessary CDC precautions to prevent any potential exposure. Now, although our township hall building may be closed to the public at this time, be confident that despite the many inconveniences this health emergency has caused, we are all working behind the scenes to ensure that our township services will not be diminished because of COVID-19. Our township hall staff, Public Works Department, EMS Division, Upper Township Rescue Volunteers, Emergency Management, the New Jersey State Police, and our Upper Township Fire Districts are safely performing our duties and working together. We will defeat the COVID-19 virus. I wanted to point out just a few websites that I think are going to be beneficial moving forward. Of course, our own at uppertownship.com, which has all the links, and it's updated daily with all the links regarding any of the information coming out on COVID-19. A new one that came out today is New Jersey Office of Homeland Security. As we probably have heard with this emergency, there's been an increased amount of social networking, and along with this comes disinformation and rumors. New Jersey Homeland Security.gov/COVID-19 is a way to dispel or at least check on the validity of some of the information coming out. And in addition, CDC.gov has the latest information from a health standpoint regarding COVID-19, and the New Jersey State's COVID19.nj.gov is also available. And all these websites, again, are available through our Upper Township website. And the last thing I have is 211. Those individuals in our state can call 211 or go to nj211.org. There's phone numbers on there. If you don't have a healthcare provider and you have information or you need information regarding COVID-19, there's an 800 number there and a lot of good information regarding COVID-19. And Mayor, that's just about it as far as our update's concerned.
Okay, thanks. Good update. I appreciate all the work that you and our staff is doing. I actually was going to give a quick summary of our calls, and I'll do that when it's my turn. So, Barbara Young, do you have anything this evening?
I just have a brief report just to go off of a little bit of what Scott had mentioned. While the offices here are closed, we are limiting our person-to-person contact. We do have the lobby open where we have drop boxes for each office. We are accepting certain items by drop box, mail, fax, and email to ensure that we continue and have a continuity of services without interruption. If anyone has questions, feel free to call the clerk's office and we will direct you to the appropriate person that can help you. The phone number for the clerk's office and our emails are all listed on our township website. That's all I have this evening, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel.
Just one thing. Township Committee is probably aware of this, but for the benefit of the public that may be participating, Upper Township is probably the first municipality to have an entirely electronic public meeting. The law was passed and signed by the governor on Friday. It allowed this to occur. We were going to proceed under a more cumbersome procedure where we would have had to have an actual meeting place in Township Hall. But with the passage of the new law, as I said, I think we're one of the first, if not the first municipality to utilize the new law. And frankly, I want to thank Paul, Scott, Barbara Young for the extensive preparation to be able to do this. It's impressive that they did it in a few days that we had to put it together. That's all I have.
Thank you. Let's see, Paul, I'm going around the table like I normally do.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually have a couple of items I just wanted to ask about. First, just wanted to inform the committee that the contractor for the bulkhead in Strathmere is looking to mobilize their pipe this week, and they're looking to start construction on Friday or next Monday. That's the bulkheads at Sumner Avenue and Putnam Avenue. I would also like to request, I have a New Jersey Association of Floodplain Managers. Their conference is in November. I'd like to be able to get and qualify for the early bird discount. The discount conference price is $325. And if we send that in, PO in before April 1st, then we would qualify for that discounted price. So I'd like to have authorization to do that. We need that because the conference is more than $250 according to our.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Plumbo.
Yes.
Motion is
Paul,
carried.
Thank you.
Paul, can I jump back to this construction in Strathmere? I know that at this point, the governor's emergency proclamation or declaration does not carve out construction to be halted. But my concern is, I mean, do we really want somebody starting like now? I mean, is there any way they can postpone it for a couple of weeks till we get
Now's the
through this?
opportune time. Now's the opportune time. There's limited people there.
Yeah, but here's my issue, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but suppose a week or 2 weeks from now, they say that all construction must cease and no one should be out there. Like, how far does that leave us with, an unfinished product?
They're putting the bulkhead in front of They're putting the bulkhead in front of another bulkhead. It's not
To do.
going to be unsafe.
So I would feel confident that once they start like a street, they'd be able to finish it because it's only going to take about a week to do each street. So you're talking about, at the most maybe a week and a half per street. So I would think that they'd be able to get that work completed in that timely fashion. If we need to, and we can reevaluate that before they would start, I'll say, the second street.
All right, we'll monitor it, but I just have some reservations just because of what is happening at this point. So, all right. And is there anything else?
The only other thing is,
Go ahead, Paul. And then we'll go.
the other thing I had was on Sumner Avenue, we had started to do some drainage repair, and however, the one contractor that we had started with could not complete the work because of the amount of dewatering that was required. So we received prices from Arthur Henry to complete that work. And because that work was being completed under the bond, we need authorization to, have that proceed. And I'd ask for a motion that they, can start that work, but that it would be followed up with a resolution at our next meeting.
What kind
Is
of
there
an
any-
increase we looking at, Paul?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
If you recall, we talked about this back into last September. There was a sinkhole in Sumner Avenue before the bulkhead, and our Public Works Department made a temporary repair, and it's holding fairly well. We haven't had really any major issues with it. But what the work will entail is excavating around the pipe, dewatering the area because of the depth of the pipe, installing a new manhole, and then installing new pipe for that repair.
So we didn't put this back out for bid because the original contractor can't do it, correct?
It's not going to bid. It's actually quotes. It's a separate contract. It's not associated with the bulkhead. Sorry, this is Dan. I reviewed it with Barb Ludi. Barb, you can add anything if I left it out. But it's a separate contract, not bid, because of the dollar amount doesn't go over the bid threshold.
Oh, okay.
This is Barb. This is Barb Ludi. Just so committee is aware, I did have Paul go out and re-quote this, and Arthur Henry is the lowest quote that we have received that can do the work.
All right, that answered both questions then.
One more question. Wouldn't the dewatering of this project have been included in the spec of the original job? You would think if you're doing underground work next to the bay, dewatering would be part of the contract.
The contractor felt that he was going to be able to, at a low tide, be able to get it and have it installed with a limited amount of dewatering. But the amount of dewatering is going to require setting some well points around the hole to make sure that it's that they can work safely. the previous contractor tried several times at some low tides, and he just couldn't get it down to where he felt comfortable and safe doing the work.
Well, did the
Arthur
prior
Henry said
contractor
that
have
they
a
could do
bond
it.
on this job?
No, it was a quoted price, so there was no bond. We just had a purchase order.
Okay.
Did
So
we pay him any
he was
money?
unable to perform the job that he had
No.
quoted. Do we have any recourse there in recovering our money?
We did
I'd
not
have to
pay the
review-
contractor. We did not pay the contractor any funds, because, we paid for the projects when they're completed. So there was no upfront money paid to the contractor. He's, just asked to have the rescinded and,
Okay, I got you. So he walked away from the job and we allowed it because it didn't make any sense to keep him. We had nothing to hold him.
correct.
Okay.
So do you need a motion to go ahead and take on this contractor or what?
Yes,
Yes.
a motion and a second to proceed with the bond purchase.
I will
All right,
make that in
motion
the form of a
to
motion.
let Arthur Henry do the work.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
That's all I had. Thank you.
All right. Barbara Ludi.
I have nothing to report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Coggins.
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thanks.
All right. Committeeman Young.
Good evening, Mayor. Yeah, just to follow up with the Easter egg hunt that has been postponed. We're still going to try to get it in once we find out what's going on with the COVID-19. If not, we're talking about doing a spring fling and incorporating the Easter egg hunt with that, or possibly 4th of July. All of our facilities, recreation-wise, are now closed down completely. Playgrounds, everything has been shut down and noticed. We're keeping on top of that, Scott and Craig, as much as we can, and minimizing, if nothing else, the amount of kids and people that have been using the facilities. I think it's pretty hard to stop everybody 100%, but minimizing is about the best we can do. Other than that, we're just moving forward with maintenance on the fields and trying to make sure that we're ready once this thing gets lifted and we go full bore with our recreation facility again. That's all I have.
Okay, great. Deputy Mayor Barr.
All right, I've been in constant contact with Scott and Craig over the operations in Public Works. Last we spoke, we're looking at some modified staffing, but we don't anticipate that having any impact on the services that we're providing, especially trash collection, and that should maintain its schedule as it is right now. There'll be some brush pickup, but other than that, we're keeping an eye on our staffing and maintaining the social distance.
All right. Committeeman Corson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, just one thing real quick. I'd like to thank all our township employees for stepping up during this Chinese virus, and especially the rescue squad. They're doing a phenomenal job, and wish everybody stay safe, follow the guidelines out there, and we'll live to fight another day. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I have a couple things. One is actually good news. I received a letter. It went to both myself and the mayor of Summers Point that the bridge walkway bike path will officially open May 6th. So for those that out there that have been waiting to find out when it's going to actually open, it appears that they plan on opening it May 6th. And so I think that's a good thing, and it'll help be a complement as we move forward into taking care of and rejuvenating the Beasley's Point beach area. The second thing is that I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. through, Paul and Scott and Barbara Young and everybody. We've had couple of times a week, we've had updates from staff supervisors. We had an hour conference call today. Everyone's, bringing forth their plans on how to handle the folks that, we are going on staggered work shifts and then also alternating days. We will have people working from home on the days that they're not in the office. We feel that will safely accommodate the spacing that's needed, for our employees so that they're not at risk. And then for those that don't know, we have set up pretty much a container opportunity for people to drop things off in the vestibule of the Township Hall. We're trying to avoid any personal contact, not only for our staff, but also for those individuals that are bringing in and have needs. You can certainly call the offices and get in touch with people, and you will also be able to arrange an appointment. But we are thinking safety first throughout this difficult time, and we hope to be able to accommodate anybody that has needs. And finally, I also want to thank our staff, our supervisors, our staff, our employees have done a yeoman's job getting through this. There's been a lot of planning to effectually put this plan in place, and everyone is stepping up to the plate. No one seems to, I have not heard any complaints or anything from anybody. Everybody knows this is a very serious time, and we're all doing whatever we can to facilitate and help our residents in any way we can. So thank you all for that as well. So with that, let's move to,
Rich,
yes.
if I could, something I did forget. I wanted to say a big thank you to Scott for this weekend. We had a homeless gentleman living in his car and camping in Moore behind Trinity Methodist Church. Received quite a few complaints about this, and with continued contact with Scott this week, he dealt with the state police and actually had the vehicle towed, and the gentleman relocated with a family member. So I just want to say he did a great job over this weekend and compliment him for that.
Thanks, Toby.
One other thing I want to give everybody an update. I did talk to freeholder Jeff Pearson and offered Amanda's Field as a potential site, maybe not right now, but in the future if they decide to do it. And that is to allow for a mobile COVID-19 testing site. We feel, Scott and I had a discussion, and I feel that Amanda's Field is a great way to, enter. We can separate cars. Cars can park. They can get whatever they need to be tested. And then we can have sign out sheets, and then they don't even have to leave their car. We should be able to facilitate it in and out. And I suggested that we be considered, because we can service Ocean City, Strathmere, Sea Isle, Woodbine, and Dennis, as well as upper at Amanda's Field, and then a southern location may make sense, for the other Barrier Islands and the other mainland areas. So more to come on that. He said that he was going to have a meeting today, and bring forth my idea to the County Department of Health. I know that he said that they have limited resources at this point and limited equipment. But I said that, that there's no reason why we couldn't do this in a reasonable way once the tests become available, because from what I understand, the federal government's supposed to supply, a lot of these tests to all the counties, not just in New Jersey, but throughout the United States. So, hopefully we'll be able to do that. So that's all I have. Barbara, do you want to continue with the agenda?
Sure. Item number 1 under resolutions, authorizing the annual 4th of July fireworks display.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes, we'll be ready for something by then.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 2, appointing J.P. Bainbridge and Associates and J. Paul Bainbridge as an appraiser for the Township of Upper.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 3, we have tax refund for Block 830, Lot 7.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Go ahead.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Tax refund for Block 862, Lot 9.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 5, amending resolution number 47, 2020, authorizing the Township of Upper to accept an emergency management performance grant, emergency management agency assistance sub-award from the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 6, revised 2020 temporary budget.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 7, appointing Timothy Leeds, Jay Newman, and Melanie Garthwaite as part-time employees to the Upper Township Division of Emergency Medical Services.
Move the resolution. Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 8, under new business. Upper Township Football Association requests to hold a raffle number 532 at Caldwell Park on September 5th, 2020.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Barr?
Yes.
Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Would someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
I hereby move that all
Motion to approve.
claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated into the full minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Now, there are 3 reports to accept. Clerk's office, finance office, and municipal court. And normally I would say they'd be available tomorrow morning in the clerk's office, but I would ask that you be considerate of the situation. And if you require a copy, a request through email will be accommodated. But I'll make a motion to accept the reports of municipal departments.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Now, we have reached the public comment portion of the meeting. If if there's anyone on this call that would like to address the Township Committee, now's the time to do so. If you could unmute your phone, state your name, your address, and your reason for addressing the Township Committee, it would be appreciated. With not being able to see who's out there, I can't ask, or point to who can go first, who can go second. So we'll just, play it by ear and see how it goes. So if anyone would like to address the Township Committee, now's the time to do so.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to. This is Linda Bateman, 14 East Tecumseh, Strathmere, president of SIA. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and
Great.
clear.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for arranging this, and we're all in our slippers in doing this. I'm sorry we can't see each other, but we do appreciate it. And we also appreciate all that the township is doing to help us through the current situation with the coronavirus. Sorry about all the cancellations, and we welcome the communication we've been receiving. I have a couple of questions. I couldn't hear the beginning of this, but are you able to give us a brief report on what the schools are doing in terms of, are they doing online classes? What will happen with the high school, or do you know that, or?
I can only go by what I know, and then someone else can chime in, but I know from my own grandchildren that attend the schools. Some of, I guess it depends on the teacher. Most of all the kids are getting class material and things to study and things to participate in. So our school system has done a good job in setting up this online teaching opportunity. I don't know that anybody has a definite date. I know that April 1st was originally looked at. That may be pushed back now, obviously, because we're almost at the end of the month anyway,
Right.
to like the 15th. And I mean, there's some outside chance that could be worse. By worse, I mean the date could either be prolonged or,
Right.
who knows what the final outcome will be. But I know that Upper Township has worked closely with the county superintendent and the county Department of Education. And I know that there's been a lot of coordinations with the state as well. And it's my understanding that because of this the seriousness that's happening here, that, and I don't want to speak too freely, but it sounds like the school and the children may not have to make up the days that are lost. I mean, they're
Right.
actually, participating in school online. I know it's got to be very difficult because, children are typically using computers, but not necessarily this way. Certainly there's a lot of online classes for, people that are in college or graduate school, and those kind of things. But I think they're doing as good a job as can be expected. And, I wish them all the best.
And do you have anything about the high school, or are they doing online classes? Do you know?
I assume they are. I don't have firsthand knowledge of that. Maybe one of my other colleagues do, but
Yeah, Rich,
go ahead.
my understanding was they had an issue in the beginning, but they got that worked out and they're doing online classes the same as our schools are doing. They have set hours that the teachers are available to interact with the kids and answer questions.
Great.
And this is all set up for the long term, just in case.
Yep.
Great. Just a couple more things, if I may. We've been watching the president's daily briefings and watching this small business Main Street program going. I don't know if Blanche is online tonight or not, but do you have any inside track knowledge of what Upper Township small business people should do?
I don't personally have that information at my disposal at this point. I mean, it is something that we've talked about. In fact, I've had conversations with pretty much every committee person about it, and we know the seriousness of it. If Blanche is on, she's welcome to chime in, join the call. If she's not, then we'll make it a point to get some follow-up information to supply back to you.
Oh, that would be great. The audio was going in and out. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Kirk, It's Kirk Kushner. As a business owner in Upper Township, I have two businesses still. I mean, there's been no feedback yet on what to do or what. I mean, one of my businesses is shut down and probably going to remain shut down. The other one's by appointment only. My mini storage.
Mhm.
It is what it is. I mean, we got to do what we
Right.
have to do with this.
I didn't know if you had any information on how the Main Street worked or what to tell people who may be affected.
I
or
would.
if it's too
I
soon,
have told everybody, please try to support our local businesses. If you need, they're doing takeouts, continue what
Right.
you do want to do. And the diners and the restaurants are still doing takeouts. So, I mean, we need to step up and help these people as citizens, not
Right.
just hide totally.
And the Cape May County Chamber of Commerce has a Facebook page dedicated solely to what takeout places are open. We've shared it on the SIA page and on our personal pages. It's a nice resource. And I couldn't hear if I could switch to the bridge bike path. You're referring to over at the Parkway by Beasley's Point, that bridge? The
Yes,
Parkway?
the one,
Okay.
the new bridge that they built that has the walkway and bicycle path, that had gates closed on both sides. The Department of, I guess, South Jersey Transportation, sent a letter and basically informed both, myself and the mayor of Summers Point, that both gates would be open as of May 6th.
Okay. Thank you. And just two more things. One, by extraordinary series of events, this was the third planning board meeting of the season that had to be canceled, postponed. Is there any extraordinary method or any thought of rescheduling so that we don't lose another month?
Oh, no, there is a chance that we will reschedule. We quickly had to put together the technological means to do what we're doing this evening. And
Right.
in fact, we could probably advance it to having folks be able to see us online, or at least be able to see the agenda. But we weren't
We
prepared
can
to
see
do
the
it that
agenda,
quickly.
by the way.
Well, if this is Dan Young, if I may, this is a dry run, not a dry run, but it's the first test of the electronic meeting only.
Right.
It's anticipated that if this continues, that we will have video so that the people that are testifying will be able to be seen by board members, and documents will be able to be seen as well. I haven't talked to the planning board solicitor, but I have talked to Paul, and it's technologically feasible. Whether the planning board schedules a special meeting to pick up where they left off, or they just do this at their next regularly scheduled meeting, that's what we're working for or toward. But it's not set up yet. But there was a law passed. I don't know if you were on the line in the very beginning of the meeting. There was a law passed on Friday that enabled us to do this without a meeting room, to do it entirely electronically.
So you're not all together. I didn't hear that in the beginning. You're all somewhere remote as well.
We're all,
yes, we're all
at
remote.
our houses. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I started to figure that out. And the last thing, as I said, we've been watching the briefings, and most notable today, President Trump did not refer to the virus as the Chinese virus. And as pointed out to him multiple times, it's considered a racist comment and very hurtful. And I was saddened to hear you, Mr. Corson, use that term, and would ask you to, at least publicly, as an elected official, not use it during this meeting time. I find it really dispiriting at a time when we want people to all join in, and I think that it does hurt the Asian community and makes life way more uncomfortable for a lot of people. So respectfully, I would ask you to refrain from that.
I'm sorry, Linda, it won't happen again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good night. Oh, no, I'll still stay on, but thank you for letting me talk. And if Blanche is there, I'd love to hear anything she has to say. And we are keeping up our end of it with takeout and as many community services as we can. And thank you again for Public Works. Nice job over here.
Okay. Is there anyone else on the phone that would like to join or address the Township Committee? I'm going to give it just a little bit of time, just in case someone's muted or, they're just having difficulty getting in through the line.
Oh, I did have one follow-up question too. The Easter Sunday Mass on the beach, I'm assuming, I don't know how the diocese is handling that since masses are canceled, but have you heard from Resurrection if that will be canceled?
I don't know that they've officially canceled it, but I would say there's a really good chance that it will be. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll reach out to Monsignor Pete, but my guess is it will be canceled.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So it doesn't sound like, because I can't say appear, I can't see anybody, that there's any final people that want to address the public portion of the meeting. So with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to come out of the public portion comment of the meeting. So would someone make the motion for that? I'll
So
make the
moved.
motion for that.
Motion.
We got a second. Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes. As I announced at the beginning of the meeting, there is no executive session this evening. So unless anybody else, whether staff or, the township committee have any final comments or thoughts, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes. Thank you all. We've made our first official virtual meeting getting through this COVID-19 crisis. And I appreciate all the outreaches that everyone's giving to one another. We're getting a lot accomplished in this very difficult time. So thank you all again, and enjoy the rest of the week. And normally I would tell everyone to drive home safely, but most of you are, I'm hoping, home on this call. So enjoy the rest of your evening.